It's often said that the Brickyard picks its winners. Jonathan Goke never gave the track that chance. Goke qualified 4th and quickly worked his way to the front, leading lap 1. The multi-time iRacing Indy Fixed Official Series champion swapped the lead with teammate Dan Guerin and pole sitter Jason Robarge early before a slew of incidents slowed the action. But once the race returned to green for the final time on lap 68, the most prolific oval racer in Lionheart history checked out, leading a total of 119 laps. Joe Hassert finished second, just ahead of Dan Guerin. The duo spent nearly 100 laps trying to close a gap that at one point was over 10 seconds. By the end of the race, the gap was just under 2 seconds, but the result was never in question. Series founder George Anzaldo and race dark horse Bob Mikes both missed the start and never made the race with connection issues. Wrecks and mistakes cost a pair of Anzaldo's AGR Motorsports teammate, who both looked strong early. Robarge, on the heels of his first Lionheart pole, swapped the lead with Goke and Guerin early. On lap 26, Goke used a tow from his teammate Guerin down the back straightaway to pull alongside Robarge into turn 3. Goke lost the nose of his car and the dirty air out of Guerin's car slid up into Robarge, who bounced off the north chute wall and violently tumbled to the grass, ending a promising day. On the ensuing restart, Galvin replaced his wrecked teammate in the front trio. The three swapped the lead on nearly every straightaway. Following the final caution on lap 64, when Vince Bluthenthal tagged the wall and collected Jared Turnbull, the trio again settled in. The Adrenaline Motorsports crew of Stouffer, Branch, Kinsella, and Tony Schowen also formed a group, and it appeared the prevailing offsetting strategies would be what determined the race win. But on the next round of green flag pit stops on lap 95, Galvin suffered a mechanical issue coming to the pits while downshifting. His DW12 slipped into reverse, causing him to lock up the tires and spin. Guerin narrowly avoided him. The spin, combined with Guerin checking up and losing his drafting partner, allowed Goke to open an unsurmountable lead. Galvin rebounded and finished 5th, inches behind Jake Wright in a photo finish. 4 cautions slowed the race for 12 laps. The first yellow flew on lap 6 when Hassert and Mitch Moeller touched in turn 1. Moeller spun into the outside wall, ending his race. Patrick Taylor lifted for the wreck, but his teammate Dustin Wardlow did not react quick enough and launched over the back of his Dragonfly racing partner and into the wall. On lap 15, Turnbull came up into Scott Bolster in the north chute. Bolster was turned around into the wall, entering turn 4, ending his race. The tangle between Goke and Robarge brought out the 3rd caution, while Bluthenthal self-wreck brought out the final yellow. Contact between Chris Stouffer and Dave Barber on lap 11 ended the race for one of the league's most popular racers. Stouffer appeared to mistime a run out of turn 4, turning Barber into the outside wall and down pit road. A final wreck coming to the finish scrambled the back half of the top 10. Tyler Turnbull and Brendan Limkeman exited turn 4 inches apart in a battle for 10th. As the two weaved back and forth, they made contact, sending them both flipping. Matthew Mercer and Michael Gray slipped under the airborne cars to steal 10th and 11th, with Turnbull and Limkeman the final cars on the lead lap. The Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment, settles into its summer stretch now. Kinsella remains the points leader over Guerin by 57. Two-time defending champion Jake Wright sits 70 points out of the lead in 3rd, with Otis and Gray rounding out the top 5. Engineered to win, built to last. Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information on HPP and the product they offer, visit hppsimulation.com. And for more on the Lionheart IndyCar Series, go to lionheartracingseries.com.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
For these drivers, it isn't about the largest purse in Lionheart history, it's about keeping the memory of Dan Weldon alive. Any one of the 42 drivers can win, but to do so, they will need speed and determination. Rookies must battle hardened veterans, and all must conquer an assortment of roads and ovals.
He loses momentum. No, he cannot make it stick. Race pulls ahead. Here's something they touch. The winner is going to be Big Show. No, it's Stouffer. I called it wrong. He's going to try to close the door out of pit exit, and I think he has to.
With a history of double-digit winners per season, the challenge will be harder than ever. Which one will ultimately be crowned Lionheart champion? You're watching the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment, the premier American open-wheel championship on iRacing, exclusively on GSRC.
Less than 2 weeks ago, the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment, staged its biggest event of the year with an all-time record numbers of viewers tuning in to see Jonathan Goke win the iRace for Gauge Indianapolis 500 for the second consecutive year. Now the scene shifts west to Sonoma Raceway and the USMC Wounded Warrior Grand Prix, and all the simulated Dallara DW12 action can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Hello from the wine country of Northern California, and welcome to Von Hansen's Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 Streamy Award-worthy minutes, you'll be furnished with all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the USMC Wounded Warrior Grand Prix that will immediately follow. Way up in the press box, to bring you our Word's Eye view, it's yours truly, Bill Soupzon, along with Sean Crackers Ambrose. Down in the production van is our director, the Doctor of Pit Topology, Amjad Yaman. Stephen Parks is in the pit lane, bringing us those pit stops, and Dougie Beard is the camera guru. Considered the premier fixed setup racing league in for the Dallara DW12 on the iRacing service. This afternoon's event is round 11 of 24 on the Lionheart IndyCar Series Season 5 schedule that honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And Sean, everything on the Countdown to Green, well, you know, we've got a lot and plenty to talk about here before we go to the U.S. Wounded Warrior Grand Prix, so let's talk about that.
Well, folks, everything on the Countdown to Green show is brought to you thanks to Von Hansen's Meats Market. Since 1983, Von Hansen's has delivered personalized full service in a friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment. They offer a large and ever-expanding selection of meat products and menu ideas ranging from casual gatherings to special occasions. For more information, please visit vonhansens.com. Soup, do you like meat? I'm telling you, you got to get you some Von Hansen's.
Von Hansen's meat market.
I love it, yes.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk about Sonoma a bit.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. There we go. So the track info today, we are at Sonoma Raceway. It's nestled in these beautiful Sonoma Mountains here in the center of California's wine industry. Opened in 68 until taken over by Speedway Motorsports in 96. The facility endured a turbulent history under a variety of owners and track names such as Sears Point and Infineon Raceway. I actually always remember this as Sears Point, to be honest with you. Sonoma is on the schedule for both NASCAR and IndyCar, and iRacing here offers 4 configurations of this circuit, a couple specific for IndyCar, but this afternoon we're racing on the full configuration, which with the full extended run into the Turn 11 hairpin. This layout is 2.5 miles and 12 turns, but the best way to get an idea of what this place is like is to jump on board for a ride around Sonoma in the GSRC DW12.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC DW12, so let's do a lap around Sonoma. Turn 1 feels more like a street course with walls on either side. This flat-out blast bleeds right into 2, where the blind curved entry really tends to breed pileups on lap 1. Not much time to relax because you'll switch sides to set up for 3 and 3A. The car will compress on the first half, then get super light on the second. From there, it's a short burst into 4, which can sometimes give you a chance for a surprise pass. Just be careful not to overshoot it into the downhill braking zone. After that, 5 is flat out until you hit 6. This plunging corner will feel like it goes on forever. While it's tempting to push the entry, you really need to be more concerned about the exit as it dumps you onto the drag strip. This is really your best opportunity for an overtake, so drivers are going to be smelling blood in the water when their opponent doesn't carry their speed well. It's very hard braking in a 7, which has the added difficulty of a double apex. After that, you're thrown into the S's, which is mostly flat out in these high downforce open wheelers. That third apex is about the only place you'll be lifting, otherwise it's a matter of gritting your teeth and keeping your foot to the floor. Turn 10 is old school, almost no runoff, and just a tire barrier to collect you if you go off. Then there's your last place to sneak in a pass, the turn 11 hairpin. It's a simple 180-degree turn, but again, the lack of runoff means precision and guts will be the difference between an alien and your average Joe. Get the power down on the exit, minimize the final kink, and you've finished a lap around Sonoma.
Joe Peak doing what he does best, and that's talking us around a lap here at Sonoma. And now, before we look at the point standings, keep in mind that these are the raw totals. However, the GSRC stat boys, Simon and Poindexter, have been at it again, and they've calculated the points taken into account, the 3 drop races the rules allow for, and we'll show you those in a minute. But first, let's start by looking at the driver totals here, the raw ones. A 7th place finish and a double points at Indy 500 was enough to keep Andrew Kinsella at the top of the chart, where the Adrenaline Motorsports driver has been from the jump. Team hashtag nailed it, Dan Guerin and No Name Racing's Jake Wright hold station in 2nd and 3rd, but they are closing the gap. And thanks to a win at Indy, Wright's teammate Jonathan Goke jumped 7 spots into 6th. Now Goke's 6th place ranking is even more impressive when you consider that he has a pair of 0-point no-shows summed into his raw point total. So, now let's see how those play out when we look at the driver standings, taking into account the 3 lowest results for each driver removed from the totals. Hey, that 57-point lead Kinsella had over Guerin is not only wiped away, but Guerin actually has a 2-point advantage over Kinsella. Also, take note that Goke, who on the previous chart was 129 points behind and in 6th, is now in 4th and only 29 points out of the lead. So those drop races are very important. Let's go ahead and move over to the team championship, where the G-men, Goke, Guerin, and Michael Gray won the day at Indy for hashtag nailed it. That was enough to move their team around Adrenaline Motorsports and back into 2nd place, as those 2 teams have been swapping positions all season. No Name Racing holds station at the top, with Wright, James Grahula, and Pierre Degla being the top 3-point earners there. Ryan Otis, Travis Jagerliner, and James Paulson had a good day at Indy, pushing Streamline Motorsports up 2 spots into a tie for 5th, with the team of the season so far in both this IndyCar series and in the Retro 79 series. Of course, I'm talking about Controlled Chaos. Now, Sean, what else you got to look at?
Soup, I got the rookie standings to look at, buddy. Let's look at those right now. Andrew Kinsella still sitting at the top of those standings, but Ryan Otis is back tonight, and he's with us and probably with us for the rest of the season, closing that gap just a little bit. Mike Goodman going to be strong at this track tonight. A really good chance for him to close things down a bit. Scott Bolster not going to be here tonight. He's going to lose there. Travis Jagerliner right there behind him. Jagerliner stands to be another good driver here tonight. Dustin Wardlow, he's awful fast. A chance for him to come up in the points as well, sitting there in 6th. James Paulson, 7th. Collins there in 8th. Bowler, 9th. 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Turnbull, Adams, Turnbull again. Jared Turnbull, Tyler Turnbull, and Brian Greenlee down there in 13th. He's going to give it a good run tonight, too. We'll see. Now, let's talk about the manufacturer standing. This is the one we really love to follow. Look at that Toyota sitting up top, 1,683 points. Chevrolet, pretty close. Not bad there. 2nd place. You got to go all the way back to Mazda, though, there. 274 points back from Toyota in 3rd. The Blue Oval really struggling this season. That Cosworth power in these, that Ford Cosworth power in these ZW12s not working out this season. Honda, a lonely 5th. Even lonelier. Mercedes down there in 6th. And yeah, Tesla giving it a run, Soup, but not really showing any flex this year.
They need to find a closer charging station, I think. That's their problem.
That, you know what? And that very well may be the case. But now let's look at the Sim Money standings and see where everybody sits in the money standings. There's Andrew Kinsella still there on top. But guess what? Jake Wright with some momentum has really, really climbed up the money list here pretty quickly, Soup. The only other driver that says over $1 million right now. Dan Guerin nestled there in 3rd, really, really close. Only $20,000 separate him and Michael Gray. Ryan Otis coming up the ladder just a bit. Jonathan Goke back there in 6th. Grahula in 7th. Galvin in 8th. 9th, Mikas and Pierre Degla. $629,000. So all those drivers over $500,000 soup in the Sim Money system.
And I get a kick out of reporting that Area 51 has 5 drivers. 4 of them are actually in the red. They only have 1 driver earning a profit. Hopefully things will change for them next week when we go to the Area 51 Milwaukee 150 coming up next week. And I think the marketing guys really missed an opportunity there. It really should be the Area 51 Milwaukee 151. Throw in an extra lap. Come on. Let's go ahead, Sean, and let's talk about the series and race details here tonight.
Yeah, let's get this in real quick. Thank you to First Medical Equipment for being the official sponsor of the the Lionheart IndyCar series in season 5 here. 16 oval events, 8 road. We are in round 11 of 24, almost to the halfway point. The DW12 is the weapon of choice here in the series. It's a fixed setup that the league has worked on, prepared, and a lot of the drivers, everybody in the league has got an opportunity to test and agree on this set. Going to have fun with it tonight. It's got a lot of grip roster. 42 drivers. I think we'll have about 35 or 36 start this race tonight, Soup. Cash and prizes of over $3,450 with, I'll tell you what, those pedals, the HPP pedals valued at $1,250. HPP simulation pedals. That is the crown, the jewel in the crown of this championship. The weather today, it is 74 degrees, clear, 98 degrees on track, and just a little bit of wind. Really not much, about 2 miles an hour. It's a beautiful California sky, and really ready to get that race in here, Soup. Now listen, let's look at the event details real quick. 4-lap lone qualifying session. I know the graphic you're about to see says 2. Those responsible have been sacked. We're good. The race, 40 laps, 100 miles, 75% fuel, which means you're going to have 2 pit stops to get this done. 16 laps looks to be about as far as you can go on a tank. We may see somebody try to stretch it. Now the incident cap, 12X will make, if you get over 12 incident points, you will lose 3 championship points. If you go over 17, well, you're out of the race and you lose 5 championship points. Very, very costly if you don't get to finish and you lose 5 points. All right, now, fast repairs. No, push to passes. That is boost. You get 10 opportunities to use that. Who will manage it the best? No full course cautions, only local yellows. And the points run by the iRacing Standard Point System. Soup. I love this track. I love the race we had here last year. Great memories from this race last year. And tonight I think it's going to be another great race.
And now we got to squeeze in our trivia question since we don't have any yellow flags here. We don't like to break the action. So here's your trivia question for round 11. The IndyCar series have been coming to Sonoma for the last dozen years. There's also a one-off back in 1970. Your round 11 trivia question is, what driver has an IndyCar win at Sonoma and can also find their first and last name initials in the spelling of Sonoma? So, for instance, if your answer is Tom Slick, well, Slick would work. The S fits in Sonoma, but of course the T does not. So Tom Slick is not the answer.
Always goes back to Tom Slick.
I do. Hey, it's just about time to go racing. Qualifying is just about done. And the drivers will soon be called to the starting grid here. So when it is time to go sim racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standards for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulation.com. Okay. Qualifying is done. Let's run through the order. We'll take it a row at a time here. No surprise, look who's on front. Row 1 filled up by Jake Wright on the pole. Outside of him, Ryan Oda, Sean.
Boy, it's going to be all about the start of this one. Hey, look who's in row 2. No big surprise there either. Dan Guerin and, Jimmy Carhula is going to start 4th today.
Inside of row 3 is Travis Jageliner. And outside him, the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow.
Yes, the Candyman. All right, in row 4, it's going to be the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray and Andrew Kinsella.
Rookie Michael Goodman in the number 9 spot, and in the 10th spot, Ron Hacker.
Jason Galvin with a nice qualifying effort there in row 6 with Pierre Degla.
Sitting in the Baker's Dozen spot is Brian Yazik, inside of George Adams.
Row 8, Brandon Limkeman and Chris Stouffer.
Row 9 is Joe Branch and Patrick Taylor.
And row 10, going to go to George Ansaldo and James Paulson.
Hidden blackjack, it is Scott Bolster in the double duck spot, Frank Beazer.
All right, Rory Collins going to start 23rd tonight. Bob Mike is 24th.
In the quarter century mark, Brian, it's not easy being Greenlee. In 26, it's Big Joe Hassard.
Row 14th, Dave Barber, Tony Showen.
Ed Tutwiler in 29th. And I believe we're going to go back there. Jonathan Goke has a penalty. He's going to start in 31st position. Matthew Mercer and Jack Bogan did not put in qualifying times. Looks like we're going to have 32 guys take the grid here today. How about some onboard cameras?
Soup, let's take a look at our onboard cameras. And first, we're going to go to Pete Edwins in the Wounded Warrior onboard camera tonight. And did Pete make the field?
Yeah,
you know what? I don't see Pete.
His onboard camera probably a shot of his garage somewhere, so let's not do that. Right?
Right. Let's go to Bob Micah's camera. He is on board tonight with a Controlled Chaos onboard camera. And then we'll go to Jake Wright, the defending champion here in the league, in the Lock Precision onboard camera. Jake's also our Lock Precision Driver of the Week for Sonoma, and well, we'll talk a little bit more about him later.
Now, as they begin to roll, let's bring in our pit reporter today. And there are going to be some pit stops, so he's going to be a busy guy. Some interesting aspects to this pit lane. And, of course, let's go ahead and bring in Stephen Park. Stephen?
Very interesting pit road entrance here, guys, as drivers will exit off the track and immediately hit a hairpin. And then as they finally hit pit road, it opens up wide, and then they'll take a slight dogleg to the left. Now, after your pit stop, that's not the end of your worries. While exiting pit road, drivers will be right in the way of the preferred line. So drivers will need to keep their head on a swivel as they get back to racing here tonight.
And Sean, as the drivers work their way through 6, I think with lap times being 1:14, I think lap traffic is going to play a factor today.
I think it will, Soup. The laps here very, very quick. I know Jake Wright was turning 1:14s in practice, and at 1:14, a 2.5 mile track. Yeah, they're gonna find the rear of the field pretty quick. Especially, honestly, the outlap is very, very sketchy. You see several drivers trying to get a little heat in the tires right now. It's not going to help. It's not going to be enough heat to get these cars started clean. You're going to have to be careful. You're going to have to tiptoe around here a little bit on that opening lap, and those who struggle will lose a lot of time. And the really fast guys like Jake Wright, Ryan Otis, Dan Guerin, they'll find him real quick.
Now, Sean, through this twisty section, like through 8, 8A, and 9, I know. Do they have to lift in these cars, or is that flat out through there?
Oh no! You've got to finesse it, Sue. You've got to finesse it, and you got to hit those curbs just right. You can't run flat out. I can. Maybe Jake Wright can, but flat out, definitely a hard. Now, when you come around turn 10 here, you are flat out. You're really nailing it all the way down into the hairpin, and Soup, the pace car is off. We're getting ready to go, baby.
There we go. Round number 10, round number 11 here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows, because the First Medical Equipment USMC Wounded Warrior Grand Prix on the Lionheart Series is underway. Jake Wright leads them down to the first corner. We have an off.
Wow.
Several offs.
Otis and Guerin, keep going.
That's going to be. We'll come back and show you that when things settle down. My goodness, that was Otis got into it, and Guerin. You're right, Sean. Otis got the worst of that one. Guerin brings it back out with a little bit of damage, but that's going to open up a big lead for our 3-time winner on road courses today this season. It's Jake Wright now with a 2-second lead over Krahula, Jägerliner, Gray running out your top 5. Andrew, have a catch Kinsella.
Well, Krahula's really got to go get him here. He's their only he's their only hope. Krahula has got to go get Jake. You can't let Jake get out to this kind of a lead on the very first lap, Soup. Somebody's got to reel him in here quick, because if you don't, he's just going to run away with this thing.
And he's got us. He's working his way through 10 and 11 now, heading himself down. He's getting down into 11. He's going to finish up this first lap. Coming across, and we'll go ahead and let's give you the interval right now for the first lap as he comes across. That interval is about, oh my goodness, it's quite a distance. 2.5 seconds, 2.6.
2.5 seconds.
We're going to go back and look at the replay on the start. It didn't take long for the drivers in second and third to get together. Sean, tell me what you see here.
You know, what I see is maybe a bit of netcode now. Otis gets close to him, but and they may have made contact. Nah, you know what? I think Otis might have made slight contact there with Guerin. You don't really see it from that shot. But after the contact, Guerin's car was fine. It was Otis that seemed to lose it getting up the hill. The rear end looks to break around on him right there across the bow of Dan Guerin. And, boy, hard to call any fault there. It just, again, I think maybe a little bit of netcode might have played into that.
Steven, you have somebody who's come down for an early stop?
Yes, Frank Beezer down on pit road. It looks like he actually overshot his pit as well, but he is getting that car fixed up and trying to get back on the track.
Go back to see if I can see if Beezer had some type of issue. I don't see it. Oh, he had a little spin. He looped it around. Oh, actually, I think he had a couple spins. Yep. He looped it in on the first lap for him way back there, so Beezer out. Looks like another car that took Ryan Otis also has left the building.
Yeah. Several cars have spun. I saw Scott Bolster was around just a moment ago. That's got him shuffled all the way to the back of the field.
Well, we had big hopes that Ryan Otis could give Jake Wright a little bit of pressure, and that those hopes were dashed early. And now Jake with a 4.5 point second. He's picking him up and putting him down.
Oh, boy. Gonzalo with a spin. Trying to catch that. And here it is on screen. And it looks like George just... Oh, he was trying to avoid the spinning car of Chris Stouffer there.
Yeah, Stouffer lost it, and the car was sitting in kind of in traffic. It was beginning to roll. Actually, Stouffer was doing a donut. It was slow getting donut. Is that what it was?
Yeah, George gets very lucky there. He doesn't do any damage to the car. It was just a slide, loses a little bit of time. He cycles back out. He cycles back out in 22nd place. Soup, they spread out all over the course already.
Yeah, so don't think that Jake Wright has an easy run of it here, because he's going to have to negotiate a lot of lap traffic before this night is done. Let's go to, we look in the 7th position. Yeah, this is Jason Galvin and the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow.
Great battle here, Soup, shaping up. Wardlow really putting a lot of pressure on Galvin right now. They get down through turn 4. You see Wardlow get a run on him here up the hill. Got a break just right here at the crest, and Wardlow loose off.
Doesn't, I think he's okay. Don't think he hit anything. Looks like he's going to cycle out in about...
The time lost. Oh my, that shuffles him all the way down to 15th, puts him right out in front of Paulson. Oh, what a gut-wrenching spin there for Wardlow. Hey, the Candyman can. He'll work this out. He'll get back up there.
Well, he can take tomorrow and wrap it in a dream. He may need to do this because today might be a little bit of a nightmare for him, as he is down in 15th position right now. Let's go up to 2nd position. I'm going to do my best not to think of this as multi-class racing with Jake Wright in a class of his own. But right now, best in class is James Krahula running in 2nd position, just ahead of Michael Gray. Now, Sean, Gray can race on a road course.
Soup, indeed he can. The Kangaroo is just short of what I would call an ace on the road. Now, I'm giving him a hard time. Michael is a well-established road racer, Soup, and his skill, I'll tell you what, only rivaled by a few here in the series. He's one of those guys that can certainly go get Jake. Question is, when he gets there, can he pass him? Michael, pretty scrappy driver there from down under. I would not put it against him to challenge Jake Wright at some point this evening. He's in a great spot to do it from right now. Just got to get a little busy here. Try and pick up some time on him.
Okay, Sean, I'm going to put you on the spot. I do not want you to check your timing and scoring. If you had to guess, who do you think would be our hard charger so far?
Oh, okay. I'm not even going to look. I'm trying not to look at anything here. Big Joe Hazard?
Let me give you, that's close. Back there in the same facility. How about the man who had a penalty to serve? How about Jonathan Goat?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's got a bit of an inspired drive going on this evening. And yeah, I see that Staff Sergeant Goat starting to work his way up through the field here.
He's behind Paulson. He's got Paulson and Bob Mikas to catch here coming up. Now remember, if you watched our Indy broadcast, and a lot of you did, is we set a record for viewership in the Lionheart IndyCar series. Early on, Goat got into the back of the pole sitter, Jason Robard. Jason's not here tonight, by the way. That's too bad. And took out the pole sitter early. They slapped him with a little bit of penalty, making Goat start from the back. As we look at James Paulson right now, running to 17th.
Yeah, you know what? Getting a little information from Ryan Otis. I think he saw what we saw, and that was a little bit of netcode there. Yeah, they were close, but as Ryan states from the pit area, it also was a little bit too tight for netcode, apparently. So there you go. That's a tough end of the race for him.
We look at Brandon Lincoln running 13th, just ahead of the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. Now, Wardlow will be fast, remember. I don't think that car is damaged. He just put it off into the sand. I don't think it anything. So look for him to start making up some of those positions. This is a pretty good battle back here, though, with George Adams up in front in 12th.
It really is, Soup. And, yeah, Dustin's car is fine. He is digging right now. In fact, last lap here, pretty darn good. In fact, a lot faster than the guys in front of him. I think Wardlow looking now for an opportunity to just get around here, which, Soup, we haven't talked about enough. That's a really tough thing to pull off here at Sonoma.
I saw Stouffer have a spin earlier. Looks like he's sitting in the pits. He's now a lap down. I think his day may be done as well, although the car remains in the box. We ride on board off the back of the Fire and Ice machine of Brandon Limpkeman. Look at that shot just over the wing. Looking back at the Candyman.
Oh, Wardlow setting up this pass to the inside. Going to get him in 7 and then out of 7A. Nice clean trip through for Dustin Wardlow. That's another spot.
Next up, it's ways up before he gets to George Adams. George was leading this train. Then it's a long way to get up to Pierre Degla up there in 11th. Going to go look at 9th position here. Sean, what do you see there?
I see Dan Guerin trying to get his groove back here as he gets by Ron Hacker, trying to get by him across the line. Give it to Guerin. But he's got to hold off here up the hill, right where he got in trouble before with Otis. Guerin going to hang on to that tight corner entry there. Doesn't swing it out too wide, but he does pull off the pass on Hacker as he gets back up to the hill.
Plenty of time for David Penny's baby boy to get back in there, see if he can maybe get a top 5. Plenty of racing left, 33 laps to go, plus a pit stop. Anything can happen. Lap traffic, you never know how things are going to play out. Guerin now racing in 9th. Been a while since we checked in. Let's go to head second position. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I'm just going to say we've had a couple of drivers check into the pits. Brian Greenlee, Jack Bogan. These would not be scheduled pit stops. I think at this point it would probably be for some repair. But, you know, it's only 8 laps into this, and you can go 16. We said 2. I think those are probably unscheduled pit stops right now. There's Bogan getting out of the pits now. The Area 51 racing driver got to be very careful there as he exits. And he just parks it and waits. So as the leader gets by Jake Wright.
Jake Wright out there cooking with hot fish grease. Man, he's really got it. Almost a 7-second lead. Second place, though, hotly contested. James Motley Krahula just ahead of the racing kangaroo Michael Gray.
Yeah, Michael really digging right now, but James Krahula, you know, pretty strong road racer himself. Done a little bit of and they get just by. Who was that? Stouffer that was off there?
Tony Schowen.
Yeah.
In the number 31 machine, getting out of the way.
Yeah, the Adrenaline Motorsports driver having trouble there on the long sweeping left-hander here at the top of the hill. He's wide again, getting out of the way as everybody gets through 7A.
I'm not sure if he's getting out of the way or if he's just really, I guess, just lost his momentum there. Now he's got it going again. I feel for you, Tony.
Hey, you know who else is starting to move up? We haven't talked about Brian Yazik at all. Now, there's another guy who's pretty darn solid on the road courses, and Yazik now up to 8th after starting 13th tonight. He's getting through the hairpin here. going to complete another trip around. And that will be 10 laps. We're a quarter way through this race already.
Matthew Mercer and Patrick Taylor having a little bit of a conversation. Not quite sure what that was all about. Looking at Mercer right now, racing in 23rd position. Sean, we've covered some good battles back in the pack, but really, one of the best is up for Olympicman here. We're looking at this in 17th position. Brandon's had an issue. See if we can find it. I can't find it on my replay, so I'll have to do it here. I'm seeing the same thing you are, viewers. He just got loose.
And Soup, you know, this is a tricky track, and there's a lot of sand out there, and you get just a little bit of it. It sucks you in, and it can present a lot of trouble. On board with Michael Gray. There's the Racing Kangaroo.
Oh, really close there as Gray almost got into it with Kinsella. And let's say this right now. Kinsella just going around Gray right now. Gray is slow. He sees he's going to give up this shot to Jägerliner. Nope, Jägerliner backs out. That's Michael Goodman back in that blue car in 6th as they run nose to tail from 3rd back to 6th. Kinsella, Gray, Jägerliner, and Goodman. Gray made a mistake back there in the hairpin. Lost a lot of momentum. He's lucky to be racing still in 4th position.
Now a little crack in the armor there for the Racing Kangaroo.
Steve, what do you know?
Tony Schoen, early pit stop. He's going on, getting some tires, getting some fuel, and let's see if he gets back onto the track.
Yeah, Tony was having a hard time. I don't think he was enjoying himself out there. Well off the pace. Yeah, I know he's not a front runner so much, but something wasn't quite right with that machine. Probably good to come in, get any. Must have had some damage, get that taken care of, and run out there a little more competitively.
Soup, how about an update on Jonathan Goke? How about up 15 spots now? Sits in 16th. Just got by James Paulson, and now he's got to go catch Bob Mikus about 2.5 seconds up the road in front of him.
Yeah, he did the hard work. He got around Paulson, Limkeman. Those guys were all in a battle together. Made up those spots. Having a good run.
Jason Galvin in. Galvin's in.
Galvin was in 7th place when he came in, so he was racing in there with Goodman and Jägerliner ahead of Yazik. So we'll keep an eye how that plays out.
Okay, got a problem for James Krahula. Well, no, not anymore. Schoen gets out of the way. Oh, Schoen's drifting back on track. Oh, Jägerliner hits him. Oh, man.
Schoen, it's just not his day. He has no rhythm. It's just, this is not like Tony at all. Look at this. He makes a mistake.
Yeah, drifts right back on track. There's nowhere for Jägerliner to go. And that's going to end Jägerliner's race, unfortunately. That's a lot of damage on the front of that DW12. Watch it right here. On board with Travis. He just minding his own business, and boom. Yeah, it's terrible. I hate that for him.
Yeah, now if I was new to the series, I would start complaining about Schoen. I know Tony well enough that that's just something was not right with that car. He just wasn't feeling it.
Not tonight.
Nope.
It certainly wasn't tonight.
Who does Schoen race for? He's not with Area 51, is he? I gotta go check my notes. I don't think he is.
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline. Okay,
yes.
That's it.
Jonathan Goke back on pit road, and we also saw, I believe it was Jake Bogan back on pit road.
Well, Sean, Goke's going to have all that work he had done. He's going to have to do it again. Of course, maybe the guys will get out of the way for him.
Well, you know what? No, the window's open, Super. We're lap 13 now, so the window's open. He's taking his scheduled pit stop. He gets to get back there and dig. Everybody in front of him still got to take their stop.
Let's look at Scott. Let's go and look at Scott Bolster. It just happened. He just came out of pit lane. Maybe we can find this one. Comes out of pit lane. The car won't turn, and he just smacks it into the wall. I believe it just happened. There it is, right there. Bang! He just came out of pit road, and Almost like maybe he was checking instrumentation there and lost focus.
Oh boy, Jack. Okay, we're on the replay here with Polster now. Let's see. Yeah, he missed the turn and gets into the wall there.
Go ahead, John.
Boy, I'm wondering how long it's going to be before Jack Bogan maybe decides to go ahead and come in. He's really struggling with this track right now, and he was stopped in the middle of the track just a moment ago. Several cars had to get their way around him without getting into him.
We have a new leader now as James Krahula has inherited the lead as Jake Wright has decided to come in.
Yeah, guys, we're getting a ton of drivers on the pit road right now.
Yeah, and that makes sense indeed. We are up against that fuel tank limit right now, but Krahula has got to make the smart decision here. I think he's going to come in. Yes, he does. Krahula on the pit lane. Kinsella going to stay out. So's Michael Gray. Goodman is in.
Jake Wright, obviously the leaders of all the cars who have pitted. Jason Galvin, though, the second place driver. We'll see who gets out ahead of him. Galvin was up in that front battle there, racing for second, third, fourth, fifth in there.
Yeah, and I think you're going to start. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to get very busy real quick here.
Here they come, Steve. Krahula, Goodman, Yazik look like he's in. Wardlow, Hacker.
Yeah, guys, we're hearing the radios light up. Guys are announcing they're coming in.
So now rolling is Krahula.
You know, James Krahula, well, let's just face it, he suffered greatly in the closing laps of this race last year. He was having a great run, and I'm wondering if he's maybe driving with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder this year.
Kinsella, Gray, Guerin yet to come in, Mikas and Limkeman.
Kinsella did just announce he's coming in.
Krahula leading all the cars other than Jake Wright, who have pitted. Krahula ahead of Goodman, ahead of Yazik. Galvin is in there as well. Galvin is running fourth of all the cars who've pitted. And now here they come. Kinsella, Gray, and Guerin, all the front runners coming in. Wright is just going by the start-finish line right now. Let's see where Krahula is. Krahula just going across start-finish line. Are the other guys rolling? I guess they are. Krahula gets out in front of Gray, but behind Kinsella.
Yeah. And that is not where James wants to be, is behind Kinsella. It's going to be awful tough to get around him. He's going to have to work this whole stint to find an opportunity to get around that dude.
Now let's stay on this a minute because they have the veteran up in front of them, Ed Tutwiler. Has Tutwiler made his stop yet is the question. Can he get out of the way by making a pit stop?
Yeah, Ed has made his stop.
Okay.
And, Soup, I don't know if you've looked at Ed's car tonight, but...
what's he driving tonight?
The GSRC Soup and Crackers radio machine now getting out of the way for everybody.
That does a good job of it. Got to pull for that car now. It is the leader of the cars one lap down.
Soup and Crackers radio. I wonder if he's maybe ready to fund a radio station for us, Soup.
I'm ready. I like the billing, Soup and Crackers. That works. Let's look at third position. This is Krahula. Here comes Michael Gray and that yellow and black machine. There's no room that way, Michael. They work up now into two. This has been the calamity corner right now. Getting into the mix is Michael Goodman. This is a battle for third. Krahula, Gray, and Goodman.
This is a huge battle, Soup. A huge battle. I mean, these are all the guys we talked about in the pre-race of being real contenders in this race, and they are hooked up for what is foreseeably, for what is probably the rest of the stint here on fuel.
And guys, Brian Greenlee and Frank Beezer back on pit road.
That's their second stop each. Probably, if memory serves, they probably took one for damage early on, so this is probably their scheduled pit stop. They're probably good to go from here. You know, Sean, if you talk big picture, yeah, Jake Wright is out there cooking with hot fish grease. He's got about a 11-second lead over Andrew Kinsella, but you know, if Kinsella can finish second on a road course to Wright, that's a victory for Havercats. You know, if he only loses a few points, you know.
Yeah. It definitely takes a little bit of the sting out of it, and takes a little bit of the wind out of Jake's sails. I mean, for as hard as he tries, knowing that winning is not enough when the guy you're chasing is right behind you. That's tough. That's tough to deal with. So he needs a little help from Krahula and from Michael Gray and Michael Goodman to get up there, catch Kinsella, and make a race out of it, and try and drop him a few more positions.
And again, when you're talking big picture again, Otis already is deep into his dropped race insurance. So this bad race from him, you can only throw so many away before you have to start counting some of these bad races, and this one may have to go on the books. Guerin also, he was leading when we do the drop race, but right now he's running 8th. He'll probably have to score this one.
Now here's the problem for Kinsella right now. He is coming up on lap traffic here. Going to have to try and manage that and get around it and hope they get out of the way for him, and they do. That's the first bit of it.
Gets around Bogan, and he just made a stop. He's going to be coming up on Greenlee, that Stephen just pointed out had made his stop as well.
Right, yeah. Brian will be up in front of these guys next. So, I'm sure Brian will make his best effort to stay out of the way of that battle. But every little bit that Kinsella has to get out of it, that gives Krahula, Michael Gray, and Michael Goodman a chance to get there to him. Now, another driver we can't forget about, Brian Yazik, lurking back there in 6th, not far out of this battle suit.
Let's leave Yazik for a minute. Let's go to the leader, because he's got some work to do. He's coming up behind Frank Beezer. Beezer looks like he's going to try to get out of the way. Nope, there he gets out of the way. And we ride on board with Jake Wright in the lock position onboard camera. Now he's coming up behind Patrick Taylor. Sean?
Well, I was thinking, maybe we use this opportunity where Jake's working through this traffic to talk a little bit about him.
Okay.
And Jake's history here in the league. Jake's not been here since the league started. He's not a day one guy, but he has racked up some impressive stats. The no-name racing driver, favorite drivers, Dario Franchitti, not a bad one to have there, Sue. 54 career starts, 13 wins all time, 22 poles in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, and 3 wins this season, and they've all been on road courses. And of course, he's the defending race winner from 2016. But Jake, a really, really good guy, and one of the nicest guys in the league. They're all nice, but Jake's a super, super nice guy, and an awful fast racer. One that our own Amjad Yaman is deemed alien status. So that goes a long way in my book.
And he gets around Big Joe Hazard, clears all that traffic, remains out in front, racing in his familiar SurveySystems.com machine. Jake C. Wright, and of course the C stands for champion.
Yes, it does, Sue.
Check back in, and we have another battle. Let's see what Jonathan Goke is up to. Looks like he's running in 16th position after the stop. He's got some lap cars. He's got a little while before he has to get up to James Paulson. Goke must have had a slow stop because he already got rid of Paulson once already. Now he's going to have to do it again.
Now,
Nope.
Listen, Goke's doing a great job. He's doing the best he can right now with what he's got. Starting from the back of this field, that's a tough hand to be dealt, and I'd say to still hang on to those 15 positions he's picked up is a pretty good show, and he's closing on James Paulson, but Paulson got really, really good pace right now. He's going to have to work a little harder to get to him.
It'll be fun to see what the race stewards have to say about that incident that happened between Guerin and Otis early on.
Michael Gray keeps losing spots here on track. Soup, the pit stop,
Look at that.
it did not seem to help him. Michael Goodman trying to pull away here just a little bit. Mike was sitting up there on a podium spot, and the pit stop wasn't the best. He's made a couple of small mistakes. I think he can pick it up, but going to be a little tough right now. He's got a ways to go to catch Jake Wright, about 12 seconds behind.
Dan Guerin just got around Jason Galvin, who basically surrendered the position to him. In fact, I think Jason came back and said, remember that one, he said. Galvin Guerin says, you're welcome. So they're working it out between them.
Guys, Brian Greenlee back down pit road.
It truly is not easy being Greenlee today, as this is his third stop.
Yeah, and Brian, I think Brian would tell you himself, he's not the greatest road racer out there, but he's learning, he's trying, and you know what? It's safer for him to bring it in, get it repaired, whatever he needs done, and stay out there on track and possibly cause an incident with somebody. That's the last thing in the world he wants to do.
Okay,
there's Jonathan Goat.
With 19 laps to go and the pit cycle complete, Sean, why don't we take a second, see if we can run down all the cars on the lead lap. There's 18 of them. Let's break it up into threes here. Jake Wright out in front. He's got about a 10-second lead, way ahead of Andrew Kinsella. Got about 1.3 seconds ahead of Krahula, who's beginning to run him down. Who's after Krahula?
Oh, then we got Michael Goodman, the New York driver, hanging down in fourth. He's up 5 spots there from the start. And we go back to the Racing Kangaroo, is sitting in 5th right now, hanging on. He'll stay with this thing now. About 3 seconds behind him, you've got Brian Yazik in the HPP Simulations DW12. He's having a good run now. He started 13th, Soup, and now up to 6th.
Then we get to the guy who started on the 3rd position, got into trouble early, and has been trying to make it up. Dave and Penny's baby boy, racing for Team #Nailed it, Dan Guerin in 7th. He's got about a 2-second lead over AGR's Jason Galvin, who just gave up that position so he wouldn't get into trouble. Then it's a long way back before we get to the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, the Dragon Flag Racing driver, in 9th. Sean?
All right, then it's back to Pierre Degla in the number 14. He is 10th. Bobby Mikas sitting there in 11th. Bobby's up 13 spots. He's having a good go at this, Soup. And Ron Hacker just behind him in 12th. Still digging, still fighting out there.
Oh, and Dustin Wardlow has just had an incident. We were just about to get to him. The Candyman, let's see what happened to him.
Maybe gets a little hard on the brakes here, Soup, and he locks him up. It gets the car around as he's heading down through 7A. Yeah, the exit of 7A just got him there.
So that drops him back, racing now in 11th position. Let's go ahead. Doc will go ahead and get him in that spot. Did we talk about Degla and Mikas? Did you mention those, or is that mine to get there?
No, I already got Degla and
Okay,
Mikas.
Mikas. All right, so let's go down then to Ron Hacker in 12th position. I think you probably got him. So let's come in with Brandon Linkeman racing in 13th spot. Again, he's got about a second to get up to Hacker. And about P2. Let's go, Kinsella.
Big trouble.
Kinsella is on his lid. He's completed every lap of every race so far. It's going to end here in Sonoma. Let's see what happens.
Oh, man. A lot, Soup, and I've got a couple problems with this. Boy, Big Joe just really cuts off the turn. Jack Bogan was sitting in the middle of the turn. The car was barely moving. I don't know what was going on there. But, man, Kinsella tries to avoid it, gets all the way to the outside. Beezer coming in really hot and just, man.
I'm going to give some drivers the benefit of the doubt. I think you nailed it with Bogan. Kind of was right in the racing line and kind of...
Yeah. Nobody knew what was going on there or how to approach it.
Honestly, what are you gonna do there? That was a rough one, Sean. I think you nailed it. That's a tough break for Kinsella. Racing in 7th, his perfect season comes to an end.
Wow.
But don't be too heartbroken. He has a ton of drop race insurance. This one he'll just brush this away like water off a duck's back. This will mean nothing in the long run, but the perfect season is over.
I just saw Tony. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steven.
Oh, I was gonna say Brian Greenlee back on pit road once again.
Sean, we talked about lap traffic being a problem, and there you have it. Poor Kinsella, and it could happen to Jake Wright as well.
Yeah, I mean, lap traffic is a problem, but traffic that's not going anywhere is a real problem. I mean, come on, really.
Parked traffic, yeah, that is an
issue.
issue.
Got to keep the car moving forward. Dan Guerin is spun.
Guerin was racing in 6th position.
Yeah, and it's out of out of turn 11. The car, he just loses it, and honestly, it took him a while to gather it back up and get going again. And Galvin gets past him.
Yeah, it's almost like he didn't like the way he did turn 11. He was going to go and have another run at it, but then he turned it around and decided to come back out on the track. Galvin gets by. Guerin drops down.
Yeah. And Dan looks like he's having trouble getting back in his rhythm here. Understandably, I mean, obviously, it's been broken. He's rattled a little bit, trying to get it back together. Galvin taking advantage of that though, and got himself in the top 5. Go, Guerin, looking to the inside here, Soup.
We're gonna stay on this one for a little while. Don't worry, you guys back in 14, 15, 16. We'll come give you some love here. We'll finish out our rundown in a minute. Let's go ahead and take a look at Galvin. This is Guerin. Oh, Galvin just said he's coming in.
Yeah, he is.
And there he goes. That one doesn't make sense. That one less.
No.
Oh, are there two stops? Okay.
That's right. Yeah, no. This is it. He's going to try and max it out here. Yeah.
Sorry, Sean. I've done too many.
Well, no.
Apex Online Racing Series where we do one stop and it's good to go.
I know, and I was with you initially, and then I looked at my counter here. He saw Dan struggling, and you know what? Why not come in now? You'll take advantage of Dan struggling, get your pit stop in. You're going to still come back out in front of him. Several cars cycling right now on their second pit stop. Big Joe Hassert getting out.
Jonathan Goh hits pit road.
Well, Steve, that makes Brian Greenlee not quite so bad. At least there's 2 scheduled stops to come in, so I guess that could make sense for him.
And George Anzaldo coming in also for his second stop. George Anzaldo almost hits Jack Bogan on the way into the pit there. I mean, that was close.
Another rule they have in the Lionheart IndyCar Series is how many boxes you can come across entering your pit lane. And man, for as much as they penalize these guys for doing it, it must be something harder to do than I understand. Because at least 2 or 3 drivers pick up penalties every race for doing that. 3 boxes, right, Sean? Is that what it is? You get to go
Yes, sir. Yes. 3 in and 3 out. Yes. George Anzaldo getting out. Got a lot of the field making those pit stops now. Pierre Degla is in. Ron Hacker had just made its call. I think Brian Yazik's getting ready to cycle in.
Brian Greenlee again talking that he has a wing that is a problem. Boy, I have seen a lot of back markers. We're going to have a special meeting of the Back Markers United. There's been some interesting getting out of the way things here. Stopping on track, going off into the sand.
A lot of incidents being racked up. We're going to go on board here with the Von Hansens,
No, not this time.
The Controlled Chaos Racing onboard camera in the Von Hansen meets DW12 here. Bobby Mikas looking out back there.
Looking back at James Krahula. This is a battle for 6. And you know, Controlled Chaos needs a little bit of love. They are having a great season as a team.
Von Hansen's where they ask you, do you love meat? Do you, Soup?
I do like meat.
Good. All right, here comes Jake Wright out of the pits there, Soup. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but he just jumps out right behind Dan Guerin.
Rahula talking about something, too, about I've made my stop. I don't know what he was saying.
Yeah, I think he said he has come in for the last time already, so it'll be interesting to see if he has enough to make it to the end.
We'll go ahead and look at Krahula right now. He's back out on the track. He's come out behind Micus, but Micus still has to make a stop. That might have been, I bet you that might have been what Krahula was saying to Micus. You know, I've already made my stop. Maybe you could help me out and let me get by. I think Bob was saying, just wait, cool your jets.
Well, James, a master of strategy, Soup. If he thinks he's got enough fuel, he's got enough fuel.
Well, he's in a battle. He's got Galvin talking on there, too, about do you still have to pit? So obviously some guys trying to figure out where they are in the cycle right now. Rahula running at 5th. He's got Michael Goodman behind him. Sean, Michael Goodman is going to get a win this season, I think.
I'm with you, Soup. I feel it coming. I definitely feel it coming. Now, Michael Goodman really working over here. James Krahula. Goodman certainly got the skills to get around him. Krahula got his own problem in front of him, and that's Bob Micus. Bob Micus not gone into the pits yet.
And I think Bob Micus was calling out that he will be pitting this time.
Well, here's the thing that the guys like Krahula have to remember. For all Krahula knows, Bob Micus might be in a battle right now with somebody he's been racing. It just happens that the guy he's raced has made a second stop. He's racing with somebody that's on the other side of the track, so Bob can't afford to give up any time. And Micus is a race winner already this season. He knows how to get this done.
Yeah, as I see it right now, this fight between Micus the fight between Krahula and Goodman, that's a battle for the podium right now for second and third on the podium because Michael Gray, Dan Guerin, both now going into the pits.
Guerin and
they're going to get by.
And I imagine Micus will be coming in here pretty quickly too. Let's see, there it is. So Micus coming in. Drivers who will be coming around, Goodman. Yasik has made his stop. I would think Limkeman probably going to be coming in pretty soon.
Oh, Soup, I'll tell you what. Thank you, Dan Guerin. For those of you that just noticed that, Dan Guerin been supporting me through my fight to quit smoking. I'm 3 weeks cigarette-free today, Soup, and I appreciate. I told Dan before the race that really humbled me, him putting that on the wing there. Very humbling and nice to have the support from everybody.
Well, Sean, you wouldn't know that you were off cigarettes working with you. You've been as pleasant as ever.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good faker. Oh, Michael Goodman looking at the inside of James Krahula. Oh, boy, that was close in 7 out of 7A. Krahula going to keep the spot.
I think Goodman has a good
chippy.
run. Yeah.
It's getting chippy.
Krahula now racing. This is second position. Goodman right behind him.
Tell you what, man, that James Krahula guy is so freaking talented, Soup. Look at him. He's out there wheeling that DW12 around. He's got the right front locked up, coming through the hairpin. Ooh, boy.
Look at the drive that EcoBoost machine has behind him as they work down through now up into 2. This has been Calamity Corner. This has been where all the problems are. Let's stay on this battle for second. You got Krahula racing for No Name Racing, then the AGR driver of Michael Goodman. AGR was advertising they do have an opening for a spot. I don't think you need to have a last name that starts with A, G, or R. I think they'll let anybody in. Of course, that AGR fueled by Anzaldo. Who else on that one? Is that Galvin in there as well?
Jason Galvin. Jason Robarge.
Jason Robarge, the R.
Brandon Limkeman with an in and out here in the pit, Soup. He's back on track. right out there in front of, I think that's Ron Hacker there.
So now we have 14 cars that managed to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, and only 8 laps to go, Soup. Only 8 laps to go, Soup.
Let me go run down the final 3 on the lead, on the final rundown. We never quite get to the end, but let's go ahead and give these guys a little love. Start 12th position with Ron Hacker. You can see him. He's right behind Brandon Limkeman right there. There's Hacker running in 12th. He's got about 4 seconds back to Joe Branch running in 13th. That's a pretty looking car. And then he'd worked his way all the way up. He's got some serious work to do now. Jonathan Goke. Probably still our hard charger. Let me give a quick look to see if he's going to qualify for that. Yep, 17 spots.
Definitely. Now, if Bob Mikas can do a little bit better, I mean, yeah, Bob, it's up 15 spots himself. He can continue to move through the field. He's got Pierre Degla and Jason Galvin pretty far up the field, a little over 10 seconds, but Pierre Degla, another position to take down if he can get there.
And look at that. You're looking at Degla. He's 2 seconds up on Mikas, and that's kind of what I was talking about. That Mikas couldn't afford to give up any more time. He's trying to get that spot from Degla. He needed every second he can. We'll watch that one. And actually, Mikas beginning to close in now on that. We'll keep an eye. The battle for 8th. Battles on the track kind of hard to find, other than the one we were watching up front, Krahula and Goodman, maybe P4.
Well, Soup, that's nothing wrong with the great battle being up at the front. I mean, it's a good spectacle. I mean, Michael Gray is giving Brian Yazik all he can stand right now. The Racing Kangaroo trying to come on late here and get another spot away. Got to be careful not to overdrive the car down the hill here. He's got Yazik in the tow, though. To break a little bit deeper.
That's Yazik out in front in the white and blue HPP machine. The familiar colors of the Racing Kangaroo back there in 5th, the yellow and black car. In the 888 machine, because he's down under. So the 888 looks the same way, whether it's upside down or right side up.
That's true, Saboon. He took a look at Yazik right there. Oh, boy.
Joe Branch has just had a spin. He was the last car on the lead lap. He got it straightened out. Goke has had an issue. Yeah,
had a problem off of, what was that turn? The top of the hill there. I think it was turn 3A or 4. I think it was 4, actually. Yeah, turn 4. Loses it at the crest there. Gets a little bit far off left of curb into the sand. Spins it around. Picks up a little bit of minor damage on the car, but he's back under power.
Gives the spot up to James Paulson, who moves up into 14th. Let's go to second position. Degla's had an issue.
Yeah, at the top of the hill for him. That was in turn 2.
A good look would be Bob Mikas, who had the spin right in front of him. We'll watch this one first of all from a normal cam review. We're going to go on board now. Watch this right in front of him. Degla right up ahead. Whoa!
Yeah. Degla just loose there at the crest. Spins it, no damage, back under power, but loss in position. That cycles him back to 10th, Soup.
Okay, let's see if we can bring in a little racing right now with 5 laps to go. How about second position? There's you were looking at that replay one more time. Krahula being pestered by Goodman. And then there's another battle back behind them, Sean, and that's the Yazik Gray battle. So good battle for second, good battle for 4th.
Yeah, Jake running away from this thing has not bothered the battles behind him. This is still a good one between Michael Gray and Brian Yazik. And the one you're seeing on screen between Goodman and Krahula, about as good as it gets. And Soup, they've got some traffic to deal with in between. Anything can happen here over these last 5 laps.
Yeah, let's drop back to the Yazik. Oh, look at this. And that's going to say Anzaldo does a great job getting way off the racing line. Does not interfere with the battle going on with Yazik and Gray.
Yeah. George's having a good run. Listen, he's 16th. He's up 3 spots. No, he's not on the lead lap, but again, he stayed out of trouble and he stayed out of the way. That's what you're supposed to do. Whoa, Michael Gray, look at him dive to the inside. Oh, you missed it on camera. He dives to the inside of the hairpin on Yazik. A total dive bomb to the inside. Look at the replay. He gets the position from him. Oh, my. Soup, look at this.
My gosh. You know what? I am going to credit that pass to Brian Yazik. How he knew not to turn in there on that one. Brian, wow. That's some nice driving. I've seen that move 100 times, and I've seen it fail 99.
Well, the kangaroo got something in the sack there, as far as I'm concerned. That was something in the pouch, yeah. Woo.
So move Gray up into 4th position. Not only has he gotten around Yazik, he's pulling away.
That's kind of disposed of him. Yeah, he's got Goodman up, 3.5 seconds in front of him. Podium spot is 3.5 seconds away with about 3 laps. Would be 3 laps left this time by. Can he pull this off? He's pretty good. I don't know if he's that good. We'll see.
Meanwhile, up in front, our contract says we have to put him on screen a little bit. Check his luggage for stolen towels because he has checked out Jake Wright up there in 1st. 20 seconds ahead of his nearest competition.
Home track, Sue. It's his home track. It's his favorite track. And, well, I guess we shouldn't be shocked. What a great drive by so many of these drivers tonight, though. The battles on track have been great. Korhula really been digging since the beginning of this thing.
Let's go to 8th real quick. Here we go. This is side by side. This is the Candyman Wardlow with Bob Mikas. Side by side now as they go across the start-finish line. The preferred position is going to go. And look at that. Mikas gets out there. I really thought that Wardlow would be able to hold off, but Bob gets that spot. Move him up to 8th.
Yeah, Wardlow
back to 9th.
Wardlow lets off a little bit there. I think Wardlow knows where he can take advantage of Bob Mikas, and I think he's going to wait to do that. He's still got a little bit of time, but this would be a great opportunity for Dustin to pick up another spot. After having trouble early in this race, he has got himself in the top 10, Sue.
This is a real good battle. Wardlow really wants this back. In fact, here he is. He's going to peek inside, and I think he's going to get it back. That lap car well out of the way. That was Rory Collins. Nice job for him. Momentum on the high side goes to Bob Mikas. Wardlow could not finish the job.
Oh, man. Back on board.
Here he comes. Oh, he's looking all over the place. Now heading down into the 11. This is the hairpin. Let's see if he drives it down in there like Daigle did.
Oh, man. Dave Barber, right? I'm sorry, not Dave Barber in front of him there.
Yeah. That
was Dave Barber. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was 2 things that happened. First of all, I think Bob Mikas overshot the apex, found himself out there in the 2nd lane, and all of a sudden he found him behind Dave Barber. The whammy Barber, I think, was leaving the inside open, and Bob just couldn't take it. So this position goes to Wardlow.
It does. Wardlow up another spot. At 8. Jason Galvin, though, the next car in front of him, 8 seconds ahead. He'll do his best to keep Bob Mikas behind him.
White flag is out. If we could drop back to 17th position, we talked about Dave Barber. Give a little bit of love here. This is a battle. We're not going to stay on it too long. A battle for 17th position between Dave Barber and Rory Collins. I've seen both of those guys do a good job of getting out of the way of the faster traffic. Their race is going to end a lot earlier than the others because they're not that far behind Jake Wright, who is now negotiating his way through 6. Well, Sean, we've had 4 road course races so far, and we are 4 corners away from having our 4th consecutive winner in the form of Jake Wright. He is something else when you have to turn both right and left as he works his way through 8A, through 9. That is one impressive performance. Made a little easier by the quick exit to Ryan Otis. Going through 11. Just has to do this. Negotiate the squeaking corner of 12. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment. The USMC Wounded Warrior Grand Prix goes to Jake Wright.
One last chance for Michael Goodman to take a run at James Grahula back here, Soup. In the final hairpin, Goodman not going to pull it off. Grahula with a really, really good exit. He's going to get second place across the line. Michael Goodman going to have to settle for third, and here comes the Kangaroo. Fourth place.
Looking for another battle. Maybe, can we go back, see what's up with the Wardlow battle running in 8th position? Looks like he's left Bob Mikas behind. Wardlow coming into 11 right now. And then there's one more battle we can check after this one. Let's go there now. Yeah, let's go to 11th. Battle for 11th. This is Brandon Limkeman, and right behind him, Ron Hacker.
Ron trying to get to him. I don't know. Limkeman got to be very careful through here. Got to get this hairpin just right. Break down. Keep it tight.
Ronnie, if you got any push to pass, use them now, buddy.
Yeah.
And it looks like coming across in 11th position, it's going to go to Brandon Limkeman and Ron Hacker, the final car on the lead lap.
Wow.
Well, there you have it. You've been watching GSRC's coverage of the USMC Wounded Warrior Grand Prix. And while the racing is over here in the Golden State, our broadcast is not. We're going to take a short break, but we'll return shortly to launch into the Lock Precision Rocketry Post Race Show, where we'll run down the complete finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and check with Crackers to see if anyone on the YouTube chat had the correct trivia answer. Enjoy the HPP commercial. No clicking. welcome back to Sonoma as we launch into the Lock Precision Rocketry post-race show. Soup and Crackers here to review the USMC Wounded Warrior Grand Prix that you just saw here on the Global Sim Racing channel. And you know, Lionheart, the series has been coming to Sonoma for the last 3 seasons, but over 30 years, the name Lock Precision has been synonymous with mid and high-powered rocketry. Lock Precision manufactures a full line of high-quality, precision-fit components to meet your building, repairing, and customizing needs. For more information, please visit lockprecision.com. And I actually went on Lock Precision. I wanted to see if there was enough power to launch like a GoPro camera on the top of one of those things. Maybe somebody can let me know if that's possible. That would sure be cool. All right.
Soup, definitely.
Oh, definitely. Okay.
That can be done. We got to talk to Dave Barber. I want to get that done.
Oh, yes. Cool. Let's go ahead and run down now your finishing order here. Your winner, 4th road race this season in the Lionheart calendar, and it's the same winner every time, Jake Wright. James Cahul going to come home in 2nd. He's going to be happy with that when Michael Goodman gets 3rd. The Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray, comes home in 4th, and your top 5 is rounded up by Brian Yosick. Dan Guerin got in trouble early. He's going to finish in 6th position. Jason Galvin in 7th. The Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, 8th. 9th position goes to Bob Mikas in the Von Hansen Meat Machine. And Pierre Nightingale rounds out your top 10. Sean?
All right, Soup, let's get down to 11th. That's going to be Brandon Lemkeman in the First Medical Equipment DW12. Ron Hacker, 12th for him tonight. Joe Branch, 13th. He will be the first car a lap down. James Paulson, 14th. Jonathan Goke, 15th. That was the best he could do, but you know what, Soup? That wasn't too bad. Pretty good effort out of him. George Gonzaldo, 16th. 17th, Dave Barber. 18th, Rory Collins. Big Joe Hassert finishes the race. Only a lap down, 19th. Good run for him. 20th, going to Patrick Taylor, the first car. 2 laps down.
Hidden Blackjack, it was Ed King Tutwiler. The double duck spot goes to Brian It's Not Easy Being Greenlee. Frank Beezer and Tony Schowen go 23rd and 24th. Quarter century mark goes to Matthew Mercer. Oh, the perfect season comes to an end as it ends upside down for Andrew Havakech Kinsella. He's going to get 22nd or 26th, but don't cry too much, fans. He's got plenty of no-show insurance. This one will just be dismissed without a thought. Jack Bogan was an incident out there. Got into some trouble trying to get some speed in the car as he's trying to let some faster cars by. He's going to finish in 27th. Scott Bolster in 28th. Travis Jagerliner qualified 5th. 29th for him. That's got to be disappointing. Yeah. George Adams in 30th and rounding out the field. Chris Stouffer, another big disappointment. The guy who qualified 2nd, Ryan Otis. And your race steward was Jesse Vincent. Okay, Sean, who you talking to?
Soup, boy, should we start with the winner?
Let's go ahead and bring him
We'll start with the winner? All right, let's talk to Jake. Let's talk to our old friend Jake Wright here in Victory Lane again. At his home track, his favorite track. Jake, congratulations, my friend.
Thanks, Sean. This was a lot of fun tonight.
It was. There was a lot of action behind you. Were you aware of any of that?
I have no idea what happened behind me, but I saw after turn 1, Ryan Otis and Dan Guerin were off of my relative, it took off a bit of stress from the race, but it sucked to see that happen.
Yeah, and so there on the first lap, you get a little bit of a buffer to work with, and then you get right to work on really just getting into a rhythm here at this track. What makes this track, I mean, aside from being your favorite, what makes this track so special for you?
It's just a lot of fun to run, you know. It's got the elevation, and it's got the off-camber corners. It's just a great mix of everything, and it's one of the most demanding tracks that we have here on the service, so it's a challenge mainly, and that's why I love it.
Well, Jake, it was looking there for a while like you maybe weren't going to pick up as many points on the points leader right now, Andrew Kinsella, but he finds a little bit of trouble on track, and boy, this is a big win. With his misfortune, you're going to pick up a lot of ground on him.
I hope so, but with drop weeks, it should even us out a bit.
Yeah, and I think Soup and I were talking about before the broadcast. Actually, if you do start to factor in the drop weeks, you're a lot closer than the points the actual points show right now. So, great run for you here, Jake, tonight. So happy for you, buddy. You get another great win at Sonoma. You get your 4th win of the season. You look to try and win any oval races this season. I guess that's the big question we all want answered.
I'm trying. It just hasn't fallen into my lap yet. Those things are hard, man.
Yeah, well, they're all hard, Jake, but they're all fun when you're winning, and we love watching you. So congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight for the victory?
Yeah, I'll thank my sponsors and our servicesystem.com and my teammates and just everybody here at Lionheart. It was a fun night.
Jake, thank you very much. It was a fun night indeed. Congratulations on your 4th victory this season. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks. See you guys at Milwaukee.
There you go, Jake Wright, our winner. And Sean, you did such a good job talking to the winner. I'm going to let you go back to back here. Why don't you give our second place finisher another talk to James Krahula?
Yes. Let's talk to my old friend Jimmy Krahula. James, what a race tonight. A lot of action out there. You know what? You gave a great run at it. Tell us about that race.
Well, considering this is probably as close as I'm going to get to a road course victory with Jake around, I'm going to go ahead and celebrate like I got one. So cheers to everyone out there.
And cheers to you, buddy. Nice to see you on the podium this evening. You know what? You seem to be a fan of the road course racing, whether it be in a DW12, a Cup car, a truck, a Xfinity car. What's the key to it? What's the secret to being a good road driver?
I mean, it's really just fun. You got, just run a bunch of laps, and that's one of the things that people that just aren't good at road racing just come out here, run laps. You learn a little bit more each time. God knows how many times I've been to Sonoma before this, one of the road courses I've been more familiar with than some of the others. And I mean, even tonight, I learned something new, a couple places out there. And I mean, let's just keep running laps. It doesn't matter in what type of vehicle you're running in. You're going to pick up on things, and that's where the speed and the consistency is going to come in. So that's just really the main thing. And man, they're an absolute blast to come out and do.
And, that battle that was going on behind you, I mean, you had that in your mirror for quite a while. You had to work hard to keep Michael Goodman behind you. I mean, what was it like having Michael Goodman fight you back there?
Well, really, it was difficult because I knew I was on older tires. I was planning my attack on Kinsella. I was just kind of waiting for the pit stop, and then he got taken out there, and I hate that. I wish we could have raced that one out because I think we would have had a good battle, me and Goodman there to the end. So sucks to see that about Andrew. And we got a little bit of damage in that too, or I don't know if we got damage. I know I hit someone. So then the strategy changed. Like, well, I got to pit this lap, and I was able to get in. Thankfully, if they changed the nose or anything on there, it didn't cost me any time in pit road. I was able to get back out, and that was the difficult part. Was we're on those older tires there towards the end, and the track's definitely getting slick with as much rubber as we're putting down now, and definitely the heat. You could definitely feel it being built into the track, and so that was really the difficult part. Was holding them off there towards the end with worn out stuff, but I had enough push to passes left that I could try and guard my position if need be there at the end.
Well, James, great run. Hats off to you tonight in the MP3 Designs Patriot Fire DW12. We're really happy to see you finish up here on the podium. Now go get ready to run your Cup car tomorrow night at Suzuka.
Yeah, who was a crazy guy who came with that idea?
Whose idea was that?
But thanks to Patriot Fire, thanks to NP3 Designs, and of course to No Name Racing. I'll have a lot of fun hanging out with those guys, and thanks to you guys for putting these on. Just have a lot of fun, and George runs a great show over here. Love racing with these guys.
James, we love you. Take care, buddy. We'll talk to you next time.
Take care, guys.
All right. That was James Krahula Soup, and now you've caught up with a man who was racing hard all night, the New York driver, Michael Goodman.
Hey,
Michael.
Sean. How you doing there? Hey, Soup.
Michael picks up a podium. Nice job for you. You started in 9th position. You picked up a few for this vulturing it from attrition, but you had to do some on the track. How'd it go for you?
That was a lot rougher than I anticipated. I choked qualifying, and a couple of incidents went my way, and fortunately I was able to get up to third. But my hat's off to everybody who was in front of me, because I was expecting people to make a lot more mistakes up front, and really no one was making any mistakes. So my hat goes off to them.
Yeah, well, you didn't either. You had a great run. That's how you're going to get a podium spot. Do you feel yourself starting to get into the groove of the season now? I know this is your first venture into Lionheart Series. Seems like it's starting to come to you.
Well, it is coming to me. Seems like the more and more races that I do, I wind up putting a lot more pressure on myself now, because I just have to excel, or I want to excel, so it just makes things tougher.
What part of New York are you from? You up by Niagara Falls? You down there on by the Empire State Building?
No, I'm on the island. I'm
Strong Island, baby.
Yeah, I'm near Sean, actually. Sean, you and we should hook up one day.
I know we haven't done it yet, Mike. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, we got to make that happen.
Yeah, but it was a good night tonight. I'm happy.
All right, we'll always like to get to know the drivers a little bit. We can tell a lot by the drivers, so I'm going to put you on the spot with this question.
Sure.
I would like to know your favorite Disney princess.
Oh, boy.
Come on now, take your time. It's Disney.
Princess?
Favorite Disney
It's got to be Snow White.
Snow White. You're going with the
right.
classic.
Nice.
I knew they was going to go with that one. That says a lot about Michael Goodman right there, guys. Hey, congratulations, Mike. Go ahead.
Thanks, Soup. And by the way, Soup, I just want you to know I do watch a lot of the broadcasts that you do, and I got to tell you something. I truly enjoy your lingo on the, doing the commentary. It's awesome. I love it. Don't change.
It's all smoke and mirrors trying to hide that I have absolutely no talent.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
I appreciate the compliment. There you have it. Let's get him in the interview booth more. He likes the commentators. That's always a good reason to bring him on.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we'll have to get him in here more. Indeed. Here's another guy with. We just kind of jumped him in here. Michael Gray, the racing kangaroo, the man from down under, 15 hours away from where I'm at right now, ahead of me, buddy. That was a pretty good race. You had your hands full. Couple mistakes cost you. The podium, you had a shot at the podium, didn't you?
Yeah. In terms of the mistakes, I was just pushing a bit too hard, especially in 3 and 3A, where you just clip that curb, you just get airborne, and you just push. But I guess a bit of the trouble also came from a bit of lap cars. But most of them were great to get out of the way and pretty quickly, and just let us go racing.
Well, you know what? I really wish that fate would have dealt you a little bit better hand tonight. But listen, you can't be too disappointed with a 4th place finish in your 75th race. You are a day one guy. You've been around here since the beginning. Congratulations on that. You're doing what? You're top 5 in points right now. I think you were 5th in points going into tonight. Is that right?
I think I was 5th in points. I can't remember. I believe it was either 5th or 6th. Pierre's going to get me on that one. He hates me saying 6th.
All right. Well, now you were 5th in points going into tonight. So another great run. This season for you has been all about consistency. Can you keep it going?
Yeah, I believe I can keep it going, especially into September, where we come back down under. But there's going to be one race I'm going to be missing in October. I won't be able to be there for that one, so there's my streak gone. I've also, in terms of racing, I also had some great racing with Consilla, James, Goodman. I do want to apologize to Andrew on lap 10, where I came diving into the hairpin on his inside and locked up and just gave him that slight tap.
Well, and when we're talking about diving, that move you made down to the hairpin there, that's a pretty big move, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was very confident on the brakes going into the hairpin, and I guess it showed with Brian Yazik when I made the late race pass on him. And just at the end, I had great pace. I mean, I wish we had a couple more laps because I was really catching Goodman and James, and hopefully we could have had a great race as we did back in the start.
Do you think you got any splaining to do to Yazek on that one, or are you guys good?
No, I've already told him that I hope I didn't surprise him. So
all good, brother. All good. Hey, Mike, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for putting on a great show for us tonight, buddy.
Well, I guess it's our pleasure from the Lionheart guys. I mean, they keep on providing us this great racing, and everyone just really nails it. So, no pun intended.
Yeah, no, the pun was totally intended. All right, I get it. I see what you did there. Thanks, Mike. And well, like I said, we'll see you again next time. Congratulations on your 4th place finish, buddy.
Thank you, Sean and Soup. Have a good one.
All right, Soup. That's the racing kangaroo, and he's bounced on out of here, and probably time for us to bounce on out of here pretty soon.
But stick around, because we have the answer to the trivia question come up. You don't want to miss that one. Now, with Von Hansen meat fresh in my mind, I'm going to start this plug this way. Do you love medical equipment? Well, how about you check out First Medical Equipment then? They've been the source for medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. For more information, please visit firstmedequipment.com. And of course, on a road course, nothing can beat Jake Wright, and nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. Somebody please tell me what CNC stands for. I want to actually say what that stands for. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulations.com. Sean, it's your turn. It's in red.
No, it is. And Soup, I'm gonna ask you again. Do you love meat?
I do love meat, yes, and I love medical equipment too. So there's 2 things I love. But tell me about meat right now.
Well, Von Hansen's Meats for sponsoring. We want to thank them for sponsoring the Countdown to Green. Remember that the new old-fashioned meat market and butcher shop. And we can't let this race go without thanking Lock Precision Rocketry. They sponsor these post-race shows. Remember. Fly hard, fly safe, fly lock, and we'll find a GoPro for one of those. Thanks to everyone at the Lionheart IndyCar Series for organizing this and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We also want to thank Peter Edwins for sponsoring today's event.
Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. I have no idea what any of it does, but our director, Amjad Yaman, makes it all work, and that's how we can bring this broadcast to you. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast, I do know something about this, is thanks to Eric Eckham and Casey Lalonde. You know, see the screen for how to contact them and download some of their digital stuff.
Soup, computer numerical control. There you go, CNC.
Outstanding.
Okay. The Lionheart IndyCar Series will return in 1 week, June 28th, for the Area 51 Milwaukee Mile 150 from the Milwaukee Mile. The truth is out there, and GSRC will be on the job to uncover it. We hope you join us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel. And yes, go to Facebook. You just type in Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll pop right up, I promise.
See what the scriptwriters did there? They snuck in a little X-File thing in there with Area 51.
What you did there, yeah.
All right, let's go now to the trivia question. I don't know if we have a right answer on this one. It was kind of a cross between racing and Scrabble. What driver has an IndyCar win at Sonoma and can also find their first and last name initials in the spelling of Sonoma? And Sean?
Yeah, Brett Alt. Boy, he knocked that one out early. Didn't take him long. Brett Alt, our big winner there. And for his efforts, he gets absolutely nothing, Soup, but our admiration and our respect. So great job there by Brett. Thanks for hanging out for the whole race. It was fun talking to you there. And he's another Iowa guy. Who knows? He may be joining the Lionheart IndyCar Series trip to Iowa. As I'm seeing, he's a local guy there. So who knows? They may have another guy for the group. I think there's about like 50 of them going, Sue.
And he got that. You can see it was Marco Andretti. I thought you'd have a little trouble. Thought we might get some Michael Andretti or Mario Andretti, but Marco Andretti. Unfortunately, it was not Tom Slick, who will be back as the answer later on this season for another trivia answer.
Tom Slick.
If you haven't downloaded a Tom Slick to watch, give yourself a thrill there. Okay, finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Sean Ambrose, our pit reporter, Stephen Parks, our director, Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for putting up with this and watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.